Hello, my name is Stacey Sickler, and I am Naropa University's Alumni Relations Officer, and I am here with Amanda Aguilera, who is Naropa University's Associate Director of Conflict Resolution and Inclusive Community. And we're going to talk to you about the new Restorative University Initiative. So, Amanda, can you tell us a little bit about what the Restorative University Initiative is?
Sure. So the Restorative University Initiative is actually a cooperative effort across the university led by our community repair and support team, which is called the CREST team, and in partnership with the Office for Inclusive Community, which was established through the Decolonized Commons in 2015 in an effort to create more institutional equity in general. So the Restorative University Initiative is kind of an expansion of those efforts to empower the community at every level. So students, faculty, staff, alumni, donors, the entire Naropa community to be able to handle conflict in a way that honors each person and each person's experience, and that takes into consideration things like social power dynamics from an anti-oppression lens.
Great, that sounds great. Why are restorative practices needed and what are the intended outcomes?
Yeah, so we're still figuring that out, but why it's needed is, generally in our society, and this is reflected within our culture at Naropa too, is because we don't have really good experiences with conflict, we tend to avoid it. It kind of gets paired with pain and disconnection. And so conflict can have a lot of different outcomes. And what we say is if we have a conflict positive approach, meaning conflict really is just the differing needs, beliefs, and expectations and commitments of different people. And because each of us have different needs, beliefs, expectations, and commitments, then conflict is inevitable. Mm-hmm. So we say, why don't we just acknowledge that conflict is inevitable, that no one's bad if conflict arises, but that we need the skills in order to be able to handle conflict in a way that's healthy, in a way that promotes relationship and community.
Absolutely. Was this initiative in response to anything here on campus?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of different conflicts over the years, really. I mean, and Decolonized Commons was one of those, where the experience of some of the community and the institution and how the institution handles things hasn't always aligned, So this is a way for the community through CREST, as volunteers through CREST, to contribute to how the institution handles things. And we're actually, we have several different implementation phases. And our first phase has actually been this academic school year, so 2019, 2020. And we've created a lot of change already. We've made policy changes. We've expanded the CREST team. We're offering more training opportunities. We're even integrating some of the concepts and principles and practices with curriculum. So it's slowly expanding, and each phase will bring more opportunities.
Great. What are restorative integration practices and how is it different from restorative justice?
Yeah, so this is where I like to use visuals and draw on a board, but essentially restorative practices so there's restorative practices, which is a social science, and a lot of people confuse it with restorative justice. Mm-hmm. And the three kind of parts of restorative practices include a foundation of relationship building or community building, and then when you have that foundation of actual connection and relationship, then you go to the second level, which is relationship maintaining. So it's just basic maintenance, which is kind of like changing your oil in the car. Mm-hmm. You have to do that in relationship, and that looks like giving and receiving feedback and having restorative conversations. And then if things still if the conflict, you know, intensifies or deepens, especially when we haven't built the foundation of a relationship, then we have repair, which is the very top. And I think where there's a link to some resources where what I'm describing is this pyramid, and at the top is repair. And that's really what we think of when we say restorative justice. It's really a small portion of restorative practices. And then restorative integration is really an expansion of that. So restorative integration says, okay, relationship building is great, but if we don't have an understanding of social power dynamics from an anti-oppression lens, then what we're going to do is just perpetuate some of the same harm and oppression that already exists in our society if we don't have that understanding. The foundation for relationship building is really that understanding of social power dynamics. And then we can't have an understanding of social power dynamics if we're not mindful of what's going on for ourselves or other people. So we say, let's cultivate mindfulness, which is in line with contemplative practices and contemplative education at Naropa. And then the ground or foundation for mindfulness is compassion. So the foundation for the entire pyramid, all the way up to repair, is compassion. So compassion for ourselves, compassion for others, and the human experience of being in relationship with people with different needs, beliefs, and expectations.
Yeah, that's great. Are there ways that our alumni can get involved in this effort?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited to be expanding the CREST team. So this year we added student volunteers to the CREST team who are trained and can facilitate restorative practices. And we are inviting alumni to be trained as well in all areas of restorative integration. So mindfulness and compassion, social power dynamics, and restorative practices at every level. So alumni are welcome to attend any of the trainings for free, and we offer many throughout the semester. And we have a whole training calendar for that. And then also we're going to offer some opportunities, just like we do to the entire Naropa community, for repair if that's needed for alumni. And I think we're kind of cooking up something for the fall.
Yes.
For
Stay
alumni.
tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want to as members of the Naropa community, we want alumni to be involved.
Right. So we have a lot of alumni who have moved away from the Boulder and Colorado area. So are there any ways for our out-of-state or out-of-the-country alumni to get involved in this effort?
Yeah, so I'm really excited. We're over the summer, we're going to design a webinar series. So that people who are members of the Naropa community, either as alumni or if you're a current donor, you can take these webinars for free. And they're the foundational principles and practices for each of those levels of restorative integration. So those will be available to everyone.
This is all so great to hear. I think it's a giant step in the right direction that Naropa needs. So thank you so much for
Absolutely.
leading this effort,
Yeah.
and thanks for your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you.